Got it. Welcome to another thrilling, adventurous, and fun-filled episode of the Blurring the Lines podcast. Notice I went off script right off the bat there?
I noticed.
You catch that? Yeah, I did. I don't know why, I just did. But regardless of why, I am your host, Peter Nikolaidis, and joining me as always, my co-host, Adam Bell.
Hey, Peter, how you doing? You know, it's okay that you went off script because we don't have any sponsors that tell us we have to.
Yeah, well, good. Because, yeah, there you go.
I mean, Fruit of the Loom is really close. I mean, once
you were working that angle? I thought that they wanted the exclusive, and when I said that Haynes had signed on, they were like, no way.
Yeah, so I mean, we're playing both sides. Whichever one wins, that's the underwear we have to wear during the podcast.
I will not tell you which one I'm wearing right now. Just put it that way.
Yeah, we don't want to give any pre-advertising dollars out.
That's right. I mean, that's serious income we're talking about. Oh boy. So how the heck have you been?
I've been doing well. So just for posterity, this is episode 152 since we did script.
Episode 152. Yes.
Adventurous episode 152. So speaking of adventure, we watched Jungle Cruise on Sunday with The Rock.
Now, did you pay for it?
Yes, I paid for it. Went to the movie theater and everything.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, really? I should say. I'm channeling my my favorite YouTube channel, Pitch Meeting.
Yeah.
Screen Rant.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, really? Yes. Yeah.
Or Alex Trebek. Good for you.
Good for you. Yes. Did you watch the Jungle Cruise pitch meeting?
I did not.
Well, you should.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put a link. I'm just grabbing a link right now to throw it into the show notes. But yep, there it is. Jungle Cruise pitch meeting. Copying. No, don't play. Okay, stop it. Jungle Cruise. Peter does not type here, or does he? Wait, do I? I don't remember where I put links. Oh, notes and links. Look at that right there.
Notes and links. There you go.
Yeah, I can learn to use Google Docs, and so are you.
So are you. But it was a good movie. It was fun. It was kid friendly, but it didn't feel like you were watching a child movie or anything. I mean, it was adventure with no language, no sex.
This was the sixth installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
Yeah, sure. But ironically, I mean, I wasn't expecting much originality in the storyline, because I mean the Jungle Cruise, the Disney cruise, and the many plethora of jungle stories we've heard throughout time and movies and books and everything. No, there's other jungle. I mean, lots of in that genre, adventures in the jungle kind of thing. So
Heart of Darkness.
I expected there to be plenty of cliche stuff in there, and there were some cliche things, but it wasn't boring at all. Like, and the story, you're like, oh, so the story was good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you don't always expect the story to be good. You expect, Transformers. We've talked about that. The entire world is going to be destroyed if some minute thing doesn't happen, and it could be done very easily by somebody clicking a button or something to that effect.
So on the subject of pitch meetings, last night I watched the Batman Superman Dawn of Justice pitch meeting, and it's pretty hilarious because he goes through and explains Lex Luthor's plot. And it's like 20 convoluted steps with like all these dependencies. It's like seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. That's easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
So it was fun. I'm still amazed that the movie industry, the theaters can still function. I mean, we went there on a Sunday at 4 o'clock, which is, I mean, I know that's matinee time, but it's Sunday afternoon. People are off work and everything. And we probably had 20 people in the whole theater.
Well, you know, I don't know if you've heard, but there's this little global pandemic going around.
Well, yeah.
Which I know that people are backing off on it, but what's vaccination rates like in Tennessee these days?
I don't remember the numbers. I believe it's above 50.
My headset audio just cut out.
It's above 50%.
Go for it.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. I thought it was around 50% of vaccination in Tennessee, but it's actually less. It's 39.4% right now.
Dude.
So that's doses given, it says 5.82 million, fully vaccinated 2.69 million, 39.4 versus California, who has doses given 45.6 million, 21.1 million vaccinated at a 53.3%. So, well,
here in Massachusetts, daily vaccine report, we are at yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada.
64% based on Google.
Yeah. So, and I saw some stats somewhere like 90% of the deaths are unvaccinated people now. And, you know, it's just like, I don't know, man. I, at the yoga studio where I teach, I am now teaching in studio again. Have been for a month. I did just switch my preference from mask optional to mask required. So if you're going to be in the studio with me, you got to wear a mask. And fortunately for the styles that I predominantly teach, they're very slow, meditative, relaxing, you know, a lot of lying and sitting and stuff. So it's not like you're, you know, huffing and puffing through the mask.
It wouldn't be like the CrossFit waterboarding I would experience.
Right, exactly. No, it would not. So, and that's good. And that's good. So we, you know, so I made that change, but like, so Marvel, the last Marvel movie, you know, Black Widow, they say is the last one that they're doing a dual release in studio and on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I believe that Time Warner is doing all of the DC movies on HBO. So if I'm not mistaken, I think Suicide Squad is out right now on HBO. I haven't gone to look though.
Okay.
I want to, you know, like I'm balancing this, like the kid in me, new Marvel movie, want to go see. The adult in me does not want to contract COVID-19 with possible major respiratory consequences and, you know, long-term effects. Now they're suspecting that maybe, you know, like may result in things like Alzheimer's and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I need to handicap myself that way. You know, I think I'll, So I don't know. I'm curious to see if, you know, if we start to swing back up again, because the last time I looked at the numbers, you know, we're not heading in the right directions again. So I don't know. It's concerning. I do know that the hospital where I contract with and Microsoft on the same day announced that vaccination is now a condition of employment.
Yeah.
So even for remote workers. So, you know, it's starting to feel to me like, you know, business is going to be what comes and brings us out of this again. You know, it's like, I thought, frankly, you know, with the Biden administration, things felt different. You know, it was like, oh, we're taking this seriously. But in the individual states and stuff like that, we're not taking this seriously.
Well, and you know, of course, everybody is just trying to figure this out. I mean, we're getting as much facts as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, nobody. I mean, there are people that know more about this than I do, and you do, and they are experts at this. But we're still all nature in this fallen world. These things come up, and we don't know. So we're trying to make the best decisions that we can. I don't understand somebody who chooses to not get vaccinated. I'm not here to throw stones one way or another. But for me personally, my reason is I've got to feed my family. I've got to survive. My business has to survive. My employees have to survive. I'm going to do what's going to give me the best percentage of success.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a greater percentage of success of taking the vaccination and not getting the virus. It is still possible to get it even if you've been vaccinated.
Yep.
So we know that. The same with the flu. You can get the flu even if you've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
But your chances go down. I mean, even if it's 50-50, I'll take those odds.
Yeah, but that's just it. I mean, just because you may still contract something is not a reason to not do it. It's just like, what the hell? Like, I may still get cancer. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna, that I'm gonna just stop living right and start smoking. And it's just like, come on, people.
Yeah. You're guaranteed to not be protected if you do nothing, but at least there's a chance you might be protected.
Yeah. Cut your freaking losses, people. It's like saying, well, you could still die in a car accident if you're wearing your seatbelt. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the odds are a lot better if you are. So wear your freaking seatbelt, people.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good analogy, because one of the things is, if you do get COVID and you've had the vaccination, they said that the symptoms can be lessened.
Correct. But again, we don't know. And that is true. Like the hospitalizations are going way down. I think, if I recall correctly, with the Moderna, I think they said nobody needed to get hospitalized as a result of, those who have gotten the vaccine. And that's great, right? That tremendously increases my confidence. Like, I do go out. I am teaching in a yoga studio with maybe 4 other people in it, maximum of 8 other people in, or 9. But I went to a Red Sox game last week, and even sitting outdoors, sitting at a table around with a bunch of other folks, I was wearing my mask. And I did take it off so that I could eat my food. But then when the conversation resumed and everyone's talking and stuff, I put my mask on. And, a guy asked me, he's like, why are you wearing your mask? I'm like, dude, we work in security, man. We're paid to be paranoid, just try to cut my cut my odds down a little bit. So, but the thing is, we don't know what the long-term effects are. This thing's been around for a year and a half, right? So even if you're cutting down a hospital stay right now, we don't know what the long-term effects might be of contracting this disease. And fair point, we don't know what the possible long-term side effects of the vaccines might be.
Yeah.
But vaccines tend not to have long-term side effects without having short-term side effects first, people. So it's just like, you can just throw all these logical fallacies all you want, well, I don't want to get it because it's hot out today. I'm like, it doesn't, not a good excuse. So,
well,
but especially if you look at the numbers though, and the daily new cases all around globally, United States, Tennessee, Massachusetts, everybody is ticking back up on the ending side.
Yeah, but I think you said a key thing is business is probably going to dictate, because we may, I think that we may end up remasking, as a society, we may end up remasking, but I don't think it will shut down again. I don't think that we can shut down again.
But if we all wore masks and we all got vaccinated, or even, it doesn't even have to be all. If it was 90%, we wouldn't have this problem. But, I've referred back to my research that I did on that, for my last paper, we need to get vaccination rates in the 90s to get herd immunity.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that when half the country thinks that you're a bad Republican if you get a shot. That just doesn't work.
Yeah. 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 And that's about half the country. Well, and you know, I've had my polio vaccination. And if you ask me today, do you want your polio vaccination? Because you've never had it, and the odds of you even getting it are very little because it's quote unquote eradicated. I would still get the polio vaccination today if I didn't have it, because I don't want it. I don't want it to come back.
Yeah.
I don't want my grandkids to get polio. My great, I want it to be continued to be eradicated. Yeah. What did it cost me? A little pain in my shoulder.
Yep. Yeah. And again, you know, like the chances of side effects and stuff from the vaccine for most people, and I understand there are some exceptions, you know, some people who are in, you know, certain groups, and again, very small percentages, there are risks of getting vaccinated, but there's such a tiny population, and the percentage of, you know, side effects and deaths resulting from the vaccine, minuscule. Yeah. You're talking a few thousand people have died out of that, versus how many millions have died from the virus itself? Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's nothing. It's like 0.02% or something like that. Yeah. So it's ridiculously small.
Yeah. Well, and you know, as far as like side effects, I was lethargic the weekend that I had my second shot. My wife and my oldest daughter were sick. My oldest daughter got vomiting, which was an unusual side effect, but she had vomiting for 3 days after that. And my wife was like down, like she just couldn't function. She stayed on the couch for 2 days. But my wife's asthmatic.
Right.
If she has a respiratory disease, and I mean a virus, then it could kill her.
There you go. You know, again, that's the thing. So
2 days on the couch or die.
Well, I really don't want to be laid up on the couch for 2 days.
I mean, that's just very inconvenient.
Just think how much Netflix I could knock off my to-do list, though. You know, maybe I'll take the shot.
Yeah, maybe I'll take the shot. Yeah, but yeah, and the people who make this a party thing, I don't get that at all. This is not a party thing.
What, like you said, vaccine party?
Yeah, vaccine party. No, like Republican or different. If you're like you said, if you're a solid Republican, you won't get your shot. I'm a Republican. I'm going to get my shot. I don't care what you do.
That's insane. That is insane, man. Not that you're a Republican, but yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm probably a Republican with values from you know, the 80s and the 90s, not whatever it is right now. You know,
see, that's just it. And I mean, that's why, like, I when I was younger, I used to consider myself, okay, those are two redundant statements. I used to consider myself a Republican, and now I consider myself fed up. You know, both sides are you know, I think, you know, the evil of two lessers here, but for me, it seems like the Democrats are slightly less evil these days. So yeah, I don't know. And I'm talking on the national scale. I can't talk about local stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, I wish that there was a third party that could like split it in third, so that we would have, you know, at least not two polar 50% fighting back and forth.
Yep. Some sort of coalition might be kind of interesting. Let's move to Israel. So,
one, they won't take us. You're German and Greek. I'm a mixed bag.
Yeah, you're probably right. I practice Krav Maga.
Yeah, I think they would take our intelligence, but then they'd, you know, as soon as that wore out, they're like, you go home now.
Do you ever watch World War Z?
I did,
Brad Pitt zombie movie.
Yeah.
I did like the Israel scene though, where like Israel was the only country that was like, yeah, we're immune. We locked it all down, and you know, everything's fine.
We have a wall.
We have a wall, but they were stupid enough that they sang so that the zombies came in. So anyway.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was dumb. But
yeah, that was dumb. Shut up. So I'm really getting excited that Apple will be having an event next month. Sources seem very confident that we're going to see a new iPhone, which I won't buy because I just got a new iPhone. New AirPods, which I won't buy because just last year I bought the AirPod Pros.
Mm-hmm.
New Apple Watches, which I won't buy because I just bought an Apple Watch Series 6.
There seems to be a theme here. Or a pattern.
But probably gonna see new MacBook Pros and MacBook Air.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to, whether it's M1X or M2 chips or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I really want a new ultralight, thin, slim laptop.
Yeah.
And because I've been using this 2017 Intel Core i7 HP 17-inch, and it's nice. It's more powerful than my desktop. It's great, but it's big and bulky. The battery life is atrocious.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I bet it's hot.
It is hot, right? Mm-hmm. And I rarely use it because easily 90% when I'm working at a computer, I'm standing. Mm-hmm. But I've been doing my Amazon certified solutions architect training. And when I stare at a screen for a long time, I like to watch the big screen. Mm-hmm. So I will project that, or I will go to it on my TV and watch that. And when I do that, though, I want to go along and do the labs. So then I sit with the laptop on the couch.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't like doing that with a 17-inch laptop.
Yeah.
It's like, because you need to like strategize how you're going to sit with this, got to get in place. Or feet up or feet down. I don't know. If it's the day after I've gone for a run, am I going to be icing my ankle? Do I want to do the thing where I hyperextend my knee to get some flexibility back to that? And then, I left my drink on the coffee table.
Yeah.
So now, I have to like really, really leverage my yoga skills to reach as far forward as I can. But now I've got, normally I've eaten a big meal. Maybe I have a little bit of a belly in front of me, but now I got a 17-inch laptop in front of this is just, that's why I need a new MacBook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're nice. So I just bought the iPad Pro 12.
That's right. Tell me about this.
So it is lightly faster than the 11. Because I was working on an 11. The size is the same. The camera is obviously significantly better because it's got the 3 lenses on it, like the phone. So that's a big plus. And being a camera guy, I really like the nice camera. Cameraman.
That's you.
And so that was nice. Everything else is equivalent to the 11. Yep. It is a little more zippy as far as my typing goes. The typing goes faster. The Bluetooth seems to be faster. I don't know if Bluetooth was an option. Was something that they were upgrading. But the other key component for me is it now supports 5G, and that was something I wanted. 4G was fine with the other laptop because that was iPad was plenty fast, but I was like, the big thing I want is the 5G. Mm-hmm. So overall, it's a better device. I needed to do the whole Swaptronics down to my daughters because I needed an iPad at the office. So I got a new one. My daughter got my old one, and then her old one is going to the office so that we can use for onboarding.
Got it. And Apple still doesn't make, you can't buy a MacBook with LTE built in, or
No, they still don't. Oh, so there is one cool thing that I'm thinking about. I have not gone so far as to do something more, is they do have the ability to do a mouse. Right. So you can get it's like $100 mouse, but it's called a persistent touch. You turn on the persistent touch on the iPad, and then you have the mouse, and then when I was watching somebody do it, I don't know if it was because of their presentation, but it put a circle on the screen instead of like a pointer.
Okay.
And then that's what you highlighted and clicked.
Yep.
And a mouse would make a huge difference in me adopting an iPad as a full-time device.
We should really do an episode with we should get Scott Wilsey on the show,
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast, and have you and him, I'll just observe,
Mm-hmm.
but compare use cases, because he is sold that, like pretty much that iPad is, computer for just about everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm still of the mind, like the interface isn't quite where I need it to be. And the operating system, it's mostly the interface. It doesn't do everything I need it to do.
Right.
But I'd be curious to see how your use cases stack up. And if there are things that he could say, like, well, oh, you're still doing this like the old way, right? Because he has completely embraced the iPad lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And he does like everything on it. He still has a Mac, but he spends like most of his time doing iPad based stuff. And there's some stuff I was just like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
But again, every time I've tried to make that paradigm shift, it has just been like, it can't do it. I've reached one critical thing and I'm just like, really?
That's where I am. There's like two functions that I do that keep me from being 100% Apple.
But I'd be curious if he has a fix for that, for your use cases, for instance.
So the other part of that, you get the mouse, and then you also, they have, it's like an amazing, they call it an amazing dock or something. It's the Apple's docking station, and it floats on it. So it's held on with magnets. So you can
like the magic keyboard thing, or?
It's the magic keyboard, but it's the stand. So it comes with a stand with your docking stuff, and it's got the keyboard. And if I were doing that for stationary, I wouldn't mind walking into my office, dropping my iPad on it, and then going to work.
Yep.
But that's not where I am today. But maybe Scott can fix that.
Yeah, we'd be curious. we'll reach out to him.
Because it's got the processing power. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember now technically the differences, but the M1 chip is essentially, an outgrowth of the A series, processors that are driving the iOS and iPadOS devices. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having a zippy computer with like all day battery life and small and portable, and just I miss it. I had 2 MacBook Airs, I think, and I just used them constantly. So the big thing for me too is going to be, I'll probably have to use this as an excuse to upgrade 1 or 2 of my displays, because even though I have this ultra wide display in front of me, it's still like low resolution compared to the Apple thing. But I paid like $300 for it as opposed to $3,000 for something comparable that's Retina capable. So it's like there's a bit of a spread there. So
for me, the ROI wouldn't be there for that level of graphics. I would like it, but justification, like,
I was really disappointed that I got this thing with this phenomenal, essentially ultra wide. It's like 2 monitors side by side, 2 standard monitors. But what really I was really disappointed was like when I play games and I render the maps on the screens, the vertical spread is still not all that interesting. And, it's just like, guys, this is the vertical is no different than my other monitors. So it's a little weird, essentially I use it now mostly for just as if it was 2 monitors. So I have like my word processor on this side, my spreadsheet over here, or web browser here, and, something over there. But there's things that you can't do as easily with a single display that you could do with 2 monitors, like maximize this remote desktop and this remote desktop. No, now I have to line them both up here, and I have to choose the display resolution so they line up. And even though I use on Windows, I use Power Toys. They're Microsoft's free open source enhancements to Windows now, Power Toys. I use the one called Fancy Zones. So I can make it so that when I drag a window here, it takes up this much space.
Yeah.
But I need to like define zones, and then I need to set up my remote desktop to be the exact same proportions of that. And that's tricky to make all that, work and stuff. So
yeah.
So there's something to be said for multiple displays as opposed to ultra wide.
Yeah.
Well, what else are we talking about?
Well, we have our main topic of discussing maybe a 4-day work week.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk
Seeing how we're like halfway through the podcast, we should probably get to the main topic.
Well, so I would like to work, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, and I was thinking about it more of a challenge for myself of, I'm working long hours, and there are lots of people that talk about productivity, like Warren Buffett talks about productivity and getting things done. And one of the things that I was thinking about was challenging myself to do more work in less time, to give me more free time, and not so much for play, for the purpose of free time, for the purpose of productivity, so that my brain will relax. And then I would work better when I am working. And I'd work better with I've got a time cap on this. So if I've got a time cap, I got to get this done.
Yep. And that falls into Occam's razor, which is that, the more time that you allow to a project, the more time it will take. and it really is, and a lot of people think like, oh no, I work really well with a deadline. Like, yep, almost everyone does. Because if you don't, what's the rush?
I thought Occam's razor was the Sherlock Holmes thing. When you've eliminated all the other possibilities, then.
I don't think so. I think that's the Sherlock Holmes things.
We'll have to look that up, because I'm pretty sure.
Occam's razor is blah, 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 blah. The law of economy or parsimony.
Parsimony?
Parsimony, yes. So that's the I'm trying to think. There's a sentence. It is vain to do with more what can be done with fewer. Right. So yeah, essentially that it will just take up the more time you allot to a project, the more time it will take.
So what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's it in a summary. That's it. That's that.
So
there's that and.
Sorry.
Boy, we're really good. We're in sync today.
Yeah.
I'm pausing.
Okay. So the Sherlock Holmes character once said, if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. And they call that Occam's razor, OCCAMS.
Yeah, that's not Occam's razor. I don't know what Art was thinking when he wrote that.
He's not around to ask.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So yes, whatever that's called.
Yeah. So Tim Ferriss, in the 4-hour work week. See, again, we're talking about the 4-day work week. Let's go to the 4-hour work week. Talks about how use Occam's razor and the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, right? To really boil down on stuff. Focus on like, what should I be working on right now, right? What are my highest? What are out of all the things that I need to accomplish, what are the 20% that will yield the highest results?
Yeah.
And now that's what I'm going to work on for only the next 4 hours. So I'm going to focus my energy into just this for the next capped period of time. And this is why, and that's how I'm going to focus on that. So that's a really simple way to be productive. Just like know what you're working on, and really just focus again though on what matters, but give yourself a time limit. So if you just say like, oh, I'm working on this is why like a couple of weeks ago, my girlfriend said, she wanted to get the AWS cloud certified cloud practitioner. And she was just like, yeah, I'm going to do it in a day. And I was like, a little excessive, maybe give it the weekend,
Yeah.
But end of the weekend came, and Monday afternoon, I took the test. I was like, yeah, rock on, So you just like give yourself a hard deadline, because if you don't, things will take forever. Why wouldn't they? Yeah. You don't have to finish it, So back to the topic at hand. So think about the 4-day work week. What are your thoughts? You say you're sort of trying it. What's that like?
Well, so I sort of do a 4-day work week but it's not pure. So I am considering it, and we can come around to pros and cons of things that I've been thinking about. But so Monday through Thursday, those are my client meetings, my sales, my marketing, my tech, my leadership. Of course, I never stop being a leader, but I am in the office, I am engaged, I'm in front of them, and I'm in front of my clients and everything else. And then Friday, I've always called it my in-house day. So Friday, I do my accounting, and then I do any sort of planning and things that I need to do. And even though Friday I'm working, it's typically refreshing because the work is not the same. I'm not using my brain in the same way as I am the other days.
Yeah, it's change of pace. You're switching it up.
So I feel more refreshed, even though I am working. But I do have a tendency on Fridays to more or less have a hard cutoff. And if I'm going to the farm, I end up hard cutoff about 3:30, which is still, it's like a 7.5 hour day. That's still still a long working week. But I could imagine, what I was thinking about was experimenting with, during the week, limit my hours. So let's start with, instead of me working 8.5 hours, let's work 7. And let's make me do everything within 7, and do that for 4 days and see how well that could work out. And could I possibly get to a point where I'm efficient enough that I could actually take a day off, like make it 4-day, an actual 4-day work week.
Yep.
The dilemma for me personally, and with my business, is my clients don't do that. So if we were going to, if my business were going to adopt that principle and method of working, then we would simply have to split up people who work.
Exactly.
So that we would still cover our clients during the days that they're working.
Yep.
By different people.
Exactly. So maybe, you like my first inclination is to go with a long weekend. So, okay, maybe, this guy here gets Monday off and that gal over there gets Friday off, or something like that, just stagger it a little bit. But you, of course, want to plan for, like, if Monday is always the day from hell, and 20% more problems or 80% more problems because 20% more things blow up over the weekends, then maybe not everybody takes Monday off. Maybe don't close the office on Mondays.
Yeah. Monday's not one of the days that it's closed, because Monday is our worst day. And it's the worst day for my clients too. My medical practices, Monday's their worst day.
Yep.
Everybody, Monday's their worst day. And obviously life is not fair. I get that, but I do try to be fair to all my employees. Yep. Because if somebody, because I do rotate in office, so we've got a similar thing of who's in the 3 days in, 2 days out. If you get Friday off not in the office, then you are in the office on Monday. Because It's not fair for you to get Friday and Monday when some other, everybody's got to be fair.
Yep. No, that makes sense. So, well, like for me, in general, I give the bulk of like Monday through Thursday, not all of it, but the bulk of it goes to my hospital, work, for essentially my largest engagement.
Yeah.
And then Friday is generally, I'll dedicate to some sort of project work, or, the bulk of my virtual CISO stuff when I have to do a large block of hours. Right. So like today, I need to architect a solution to roll out endpoint encryption across the enterprise.
All right.
It's not something I can do effectively half hour here, half hour there. I need to be able to block off a bunch of time. So I'm going to do that after we do this podcast. I'm going to block off probably about the next 2 hours or so to wrap up this, thing, so I can get it back to the vendor and say, this is what we need, supply it over. But then I'm going to probably see if Suicide Squad is on HBO. Then I'll probably watch that.
But so go ahead.
No, I was going to say next. I was about to fill in stuff.
So, I mean, I did read the news article, and I'm going to include it in the show notes. The Who's Afraid of the 4-Day Workweek by Helen Petersen.
Yep.
She did the study. She did the study in Iceland specifically, and then she was working on studies within the United States, and it was also Japan was in there enlisted. Obviously, Japan and Iceland are they're decent case studies. I mean, to see how another culture does it, but it's definitely not apples to apples when you compare another culture against the United States.
Right.
And the same with them versus us. They can't compare how we do things to their that are culturally different. I mean, and that's okay. I mean, I embrace the different cultures. When I'm in Japan, I'm going to do it the way they do it. I mean, I'm in their country, I'm in their culture. Let's do it.
Yep.
So I would like to see some more information of how other service companies have successfully done it within the United States to possibly get more information. That doesn't mean I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying I would like to hear more information, and I would like to experiment with it, because I would like better productivity and mental health out of everybody.
Yep. And that's the thing too, is I tell folks, I tell the analyst team at the hospital, I encourage you to take breaks. I encourage you to recharge and stuff. Because, if you're just sitting there doing nothing but alert triage all the time, you're going to get tired. And especially now, if you're a more senior role and you're supposed to be thinking more and coming up with new solutions to new and evolving problems and threats and stuff, your brain, if you don't give it the time to recover and stuff, it's not going to come up with these. Yeah. It's frankly, the bulk of the work I do for the hospital is I spend time in meetings, meetings. And, just from a simply practical state, you can't get work done when you're in meetings.
No, no work happens.
Work happens.
You're writing down what you need to do.
Right. But you're also not, creatively coming up with new solutions for things either. So, it's like you need to have some of that time. You have to be able to just block off time and step away. And that's something that I think most places just don't understand or appreciate. Yeah. It's interesting. But I'm a firm believer in cutting down on, the amount of hours that you're doing, again, depending on what you're supposed to be doing. If your job is to run an assembly line or answer the phone, then your job is, you need to do these things, right? You're not going to get more efficient. I can't answer the phone real good Monday through Thursday and not have to answer it on Friday. Yeah. Right. But that gets down to a whole different discussion, because maybe I could just automate the answering of the phones.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? So anyway,
yeah, you're right. It's not going to be for every industry. I mean, in every position within it, it's not, like I said, it's not possible.
Emergency medical technicians, right? EMTs. No, we don't need you on Fridays. Nothing ever bad happens.
Nothing bad ever happens.
No, nothing bad ever happens on Friday. You're good. Go home.
Yeah. Well,
so do you think you're going to try this?
I'm going to entertain it. I'd like to, get some actual productivity charts on it. The other part of it, or a pro and con, and of course we're talking about Iceland and Japan, because they were talking about more practical things of how they did it. One of the things is they have the exact same salary for 4 days, for 4 days of work.
Right.
And there may be obstacles monetarily with providing the same salary, but you still have to provide the same coverage as if you're covering for 5 days. I think that I think that I could make that work in my industry, but I couldn't imagine if I were employing thousands of employees.
Mm-hmm.
One day of productivity loss, that may multiply into great big old numbers.
But recall, though, that the theory is that you are gaining productivity.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting more productivity than you would otherwise have. So, again, it's like, as I need to take, I generally, there are some exceptions, but usually I will run one day, rest the next.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through phases where I run every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But they tend to be shorter and stuff, so if I want to do those longer runs, like today I did 8 miles, my first longest that I've done for a while now. I did a 15K a few weeks ago, I guess. But rest is kind of important. If it wasn't, we would work 24 hours a day. Who needs sleep?
Yeah.
It's just that we happen to be on this cycle now where again, in this country, we're expected to work 8 or so hours a day, maybe more. Mm-hmm. We're expected to work 5 days a week, maybe more. Mm-hmm. But why is that? We're expected to work 40 hours a week and stuff. And even if you're a salaried employee, people are expected to work, around 40, maybe 60, depending. Like, I always remember your competitor in the Nashville region there who says that, he's expecting his senior people to be putting in like 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I was just like, huh?
Yeah.
Really? It's like, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I never was able to get away with that.
Well, and, some of the other obstacles is, we in the United States live on consumerism more than capitalism. I would much rather be a capitalistic, but we lean heavily towards consumerism, and people need money to be able to buy all the stuff that they need to buy. And the only way they're going to get that is to work more. But do they really need that thing? If their perspective, if they had a paradigm shift, they could, it's a new drinking game. Anytime we say paradigm, you have to drink. If they had a paradigm shift, then they might not consider all these things that they buy on a regular basis necessary. Yep. Like Christmas is out of hand. I like Christmas. I like giving gifts and receiving gifts. Yeah. But I hate getting a gift for the sake of getting a gift.
Yes.
I would rather you tell me, write me a nice card or a poem or, something that says, hey, I care about you, but I didn't need to buy you something.
Yeah. No, that's it. I'm totally with you there.
Yeah. But
do you, again, you're going to try this? Are you going to give it a shot at Sublime?
I don't know that I'm ready yet for it. I'm going to definitely think about it some more, because we are still kind of in that, like you said, the paramedics, we're the equivalent in the computer world. We got to keep sick people healthy, so we'd have to split the shifts kind of.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound like an insurmountable task.
No, it doesn't sound insurmountable. So it might be worth thinking of. I'm definitely thinking about it, because what I may do is to play around with my own schedule.
Yep.
And see if I can do it. Yep. And if I can do it, then others can do it. It does take discipline, though. It takes discipline, and it also takes people who are hardworking by their nature.
How do you judge, are you grading your staff? And I know we talked about this. Are you grading them on metrics like number of tickets closed and stuff, or how do you judge their performance?
So we judge their performance based on how many tickets are waiting on them, not how many they closed.
Yep.
Because that can be wrong.
Over the span of a week?
Well, how many tickets are waiting on them right now? So that's
okay, but how often are you taking those
weekly
metrics?
So weekly.
Okay.
On our Monday morning meeting, we review how many tickets are waiting on them.
Right.
Because if it's waiting on them on Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, if you're going to try this, don't change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Continue that metric and understand that, depending on your day off or stuff, that you might shift a little bit. But if they are able to maintain on a 4-day work week schedule the same level of performance on a 5-day work week schedule, there's your answer.
Yeah.
You've got a good metric. You're already taking it over the sample of a week. So it's not like a per day snapshot, which would fluctuate.
Yeah.
So seems to me like that would work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'd be curious if you do that. I would really like to track that. I'd be really curious just to see how you do that and stuff, how that works.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. I know we have a couple of Nifties and things, but I was distracted. Do you get the emails from Amazon about like keeping up with A-word, with the lady in the tube?
Yeah, I do. Getting up with new things.
Yeah. And I almost always just ignore them.
Yeah.
But I just happened to glance at one this week. You can now change the wake word.
Oh, nice.
And you can now change to a new voice.
Oh, how you doing?
We've been waiting for this for years. It was like, 2018, the Super Bowl, where they had an ad about like, what happened? She lost her voice or something. And everyone was speculating they were going to be, you're going to be able to choose Alexa's new voice. Nothing 3 years later, But no, I just got the thing. It's like, you can say a word, change your wake word. A word, change your voice.
Nice.
So I'm going to play with that. I need to figure out then, like what, because I'm conditioned to say a word, do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have two of them, like my Fire TV Cube, I call computer, which sometimes has caused problems.
Yeah.
And I have also the little Echo Flex, which apparently they made only for a short time and they don't make anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little wall plug version.
Yeah.
With a really lousy speaker, but I don't play music on it. It's just enough for voice feedback. But yeah, I was really interested to see that. I was like, oh, look at that. You can change this word. You could say you can now have a new wake word option, like Ziggy to your other options. Oh, only Ziggy. Interesting. So you can't just choose any word, but now Ziggy. And here's the thing. My neighbor's dog name is Ziggy.
Oh, that's funny.
So I have to text this to my neighbor immediately. This is going to be hilarious. Oh, brother. So
yeah, we do a little bit of fun on that because my youngest daughter's name is Alexia. So we do, Alexia, get me a napkin. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you trying to shop for napkin?
No, stop.
Yes.
All right.
Cool. All right. Do we want to do a quick little Nifty and then wrap this up?
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess it's me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, my Prime Day, aka Black Friday in June, purchase was a Soda Stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought the Soda Stream Fizzy. I was kind of on the fence because, again, I don't need more things. I don't need more stuff, but I have been making little purchases around the house to improve things.
Mm-hmm.
I bought myself a new garden hose last week.
Mm-hmm.
World of difference. It's I bought, so I'm diverting from the Soda Stream, but it's a 17-foot expandable hose.
Uh-huh.
Which expands out to 50 feet.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So putting the thing away, it's a breeze because you only have 17 feet to coil and that's it. And you're done. But it's cool.
Why do you put it away? You just leave it in the yard.
Because grass will eat it. But it's really cool because when you turn on the water, it expands like a snake.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It slithers and stuff. It's just like, that's really odd and fascinating and unnerving at the same time. So, but anyway, I bought a SodaStream Fizzy and I really like it. I'm not convinced that it's really going to save money. They say it saves money. But I am definitely on some days I'm drinking more water and just plain old carbonated water, not necessarily flavoring it. Although sometimes I'll put fruit juice, sometimes I'll put a little stevia or something. Sometimes I even go hog wild and put in a little bit of sugar. Whoa.
Oh.
But I really like being able to make my own sodas and they're relatively healthy compared to like, you know, a full on Coca-Cola, which is like literally 50% sugar. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm really enjoying the SodaStream Fizzy. I have not yet had to refill the canisters. It came with 2 and I burned through the first one in about 3 weeks. So, you know, again, I haven't done the math. I just sort of bought it on an impulse buy and 2 of my friends had it and they're like, I love it. It's definitely going to save you money over, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, whatever. So I can make soda on demand.
On demand. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
My wife likes Perrier. I call it derriere.
Yes, not the same. But I mean, if she likes that though, if you're drinking Perrier, you could almost certainly save money with a SodaStream.
Yeah. Well, and she doesn't drink a lot of it because, as you just said, it's expensive. So,
right.
Like, might buy one from the grocery store, and when it's out till the next time you go to the grocery.
Yeah. So again, you know, like for me, it was kind of like a quality of life, you know, just it's a small improvement, a little bit, little things here and there that I'm trying to just like clean up. And I've done a few little knickknacks around the house, just like, oh, this is annoying me. I hung up my spice rack about a month ago, like, you know, saved up some counter space, boom, much better. You know, like, why did I not do this 3 years ago? I don't know. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, little self-improvement home hacks there. So there you go.
My daughter would like that. The hydration pack on sale for $105.57.
Well, there you go. Cool. I think that's about all I have.
Yeah, I think that's it for today. I will try to follow our program. I don't know why we didn't start in with one, but I
mean, I didn't.
So, listener, you can
use us. That's fine.
My user said, we want your feedback. If you'd like to discuss a particular topic, then you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com. You can reach us at our different websites with, you can catch Peter at paradigmcc.com, yogawithpeter.com, and friendswithbeer.com. And you can reach me at sublimecomp.com or on Twitter at sublimecomp. And on Twitter for Peter, it is
Nikolaidis.
Okay.
Just Nikolaidis.
Spelled just like it sounds. I mean,
exactly. I know. If you're from Greece,
you're from Greece.
There's a gal at my last week at my yoga class last week, and she thought my last name was German.
Well, maybe she doesn't know very many Greek people.
Apparently not.
All right. And on that note, we should hit the red button.